All right, so the ideal place to start this is a stairwell because you'll have a couple steps to go up, but you could just use one step too if you needed, so I'll show both. But the concept is you're going to put your front foot, it doesn't matter which one you start, front foot, when you put that leg up there, you're going to think about pulling back into that hip. So as you pull back, your butt's going to go around the corner here. Kneecap should be right over top of the foot, head, nose, right over top of the foot. You're going to use this leg to step up to the next step, and then you're going to return back in this position. I'm not pushing from the down leg, I'm pushing from the top leg. So, foot up, pull back, head over foot, step up, and then return back down in that same position. And this is how you do it on one step. Now the key to this is keeping that butt behind the head relationship as you step up. You'll see a lot of people want to just thrust their hips forward, and that's not what we're going for with this exercise, is thrusting the hips forward and the head back. We want to keep the head over top of the foot, but behind the head the whole entire time. If you have a stairwell, you would just then alternate back and forth as you go down through. And this just helps us find the rhythm of the exercise. If you get it correctly, it should feel butt and quad working for you. This is level 1. Level 2, I'll show you next.
All right, so level 2 of this exercise is now getting a 6 to 8 inch box, or the first step of a stairwell. The mistake people make with this is they try to get deeper and deeper into the stretch sensation of this exercise, so they find a very high or tall box. That's not what we're going for with this exercise. A lot of times you just end up compensating. So I'm 6'1". I'm able to get that quality from a 6 to 8 inch box. You do not need to go higher. That is the first mistake people will make with this version of the exercise. Secondary is all the same concepts we had talked before. You got to get your butt behind the heel. That butt loads down, back, and around, and your chest will face directly down towards the floor or over top of your foot. So you can see the logo of my shirt rotating over top of that stance leg. And then it stays there. The second mistake people will make with this exercise is they'll thrust their hips forward and their chest up. So we don't want to thrust the hips forward out in front of your foot. We don't want to lift your chest up, so now that it's facing forward, we want to keep the chest down and the butt back behind the head, or the butt back behind the foot. Now you'll notice the hips do move forward and backwards slightly, but the emphasis of the exercise is that down, back, and around of the hip. And you can see that from the backside view of this exercise. So on the left, notice how the seam of my pants starts turning towards that stance leg, or you can see the butt going down, back, and around. That's the loading that we're looking for. That's the pressurization of the hip that we're looking for. Secondary to that is we don't want to be heel heavy. You can keep your heels down, but they need to be super light. I cue this as in I should be able to slide a piece of paper underneath of the heel. So most of the pressure is in the ball of your foot. This helps create length from the ball of the foot to the hip behind the heel. If you put pressure through the heel, that's going to lock your shin and femur up. We need to be pressurizing the ball of the foot to allow for adequate rotation for the middle joint, which is the knee. Notice how as I sit my butt down, back, and around, the knee will automatically turn out. I do not want to force the knee out. That's another mistake that somebody will make with this exercise. They'll just shove their knee out to the side. We do not want to do that. The knee is just going for a ride. If I take my butt down, back, and around, you'll see that kneecap start pointing slightly outward. But I do not want to shove that knee outside my base of support. The kneecap should always be within the foot. So if the kneecap is outside your foot, you're pushing laterally too far. And finally, the last mistake that people will make when they're first starting to learn this exercise is they're going to try to do a curtsy squat, which is basically taking their back leg and taking it across the body. and squatting straight down. That's not the intent of the exercise. That is not the rotation we are looking for with the exercise. That leg should go directly behind you. You will feel slightly pigeon-toed on that back leg, but you are not crossing midline as you go down. Now, once you get all of these things down and can do this exercise for 30 seconds to upward a minute with body weight, then you can start adding load in your off hand to start pressurizing the foot in the hip further. Not everybody needs to get to this point. A lot of people will struggle just to get to 30 seconds straight doing this exercise with perfect technique. And I'll always have somebody hold on with their off hand just to give them a light sense of balance. When you're first starting out, you might need to grip and hold tightly on something. But over time, we want to lighten that hand pressure and just use it there as a kickstand to help us perform the exercise without wobbling too much and turning the exercise into a circus act.